I even wrote in there, I'm trying to be a good mom, but I don't feel like I am. I'm trying to be a good wife, but I don't feel like I am. You can't put this on there.
It's probably going on there. That's okay.
I mean, there's not even any tears. It's just my eyes.
You're crying, don't you?
My eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I'm trying to wipe them. There's none.
Welcome to Altar Car, where the cross altars.
Everything.
You remember it because you watch our episodes. Only 115 people watched our last episode, I would like to remind. And if you don't mind, if you've started watching this one and you might finish it, I would encourage you to watch the one that we just did, which was over, Kara Test.
Taught for preachers.
And she watched it. So here we are. And tonight we are recording a very special episode. FYI, this is my wife, Kara. Kara, say hi to the camera.
Hi.
And we're going to talk about something that most people don't want to talk about. And that is postpartum. We have 2 kids. What are their names?
Carter, who's 2.5. Addie, who is almost 9 months old.
9 months old. So we have been together how long?
Let's see. 13 years.
13 years?
Yeah, we've dated for 13. We've been married for 6.
Yes. Yep, 6 in March.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we've been together. We got married during COVID, which was fun.
Right during COVID.
Literally. We didn't have a wedding whatsoever.
No, it was during the shutdown. Our anniversary is March 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it all started like March 10th or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Like
It was
that.
early March, and we literally got married March 20th with like 10 people.
And we were isolated for, a year?
Mm-hmm.
Off and on. We kind of broke the rules.
We didn't take a honeymoon.
Didn't take a honeymoon. Super isolated.
We would drive to Chick-fil-A just to get out of the house.
Yep. And go through the drive-thru.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Our meal was Phillies after our wedding. We got takeout at Phillies.
That's right.
And
I
took it
forgot
home.
about that. Yeah. So we've had an eventful marriage and relationship. We've been through a lot. But probably one of the most difficult things that we've ever gone through for both of us in our marriage was probably when most exciting thing we ever went through was when we found out we were going to have Carter. What we didn't know was how hard it was going to be after we had Carter, because that is one of those things that kind of sneaks up on you. And so going back, it's kind of like for you, when you first found out we were having him, I mean, I was elated because I was like, I'm going to have a boy, but you were just as excited, if not more than me, because I was low key hoping for a girl. If Carter ever watches this, he's going to be really disappointed.
But he's so much fun.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't take anything away from that. But when people asked me, I was like, I kind of want a girl. And then we had Carter, and it changed my perspective because I've had nieces for forever. And then we have him, and we're all excited. And I remember like walking down the hospital aisle, and then all of a sudden you go to this room, and it's your room, and they open the door and they roll him in, and then they just left us. And I was like, what do we do? Did you feel that way?
Yeah, and they check in on you periodically to see how you're doing, how the baby is doing. They give you the green sheet that you're supposed to write down the diaper changes and the bottle feeds, how much you feed them, when you feed them, all of that. And they do check it. But majority is up to you.
Yeah.
You have to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, and that was what was so wild to me. I guess in my mind, I thought that there would be more involvement. And not a knock at like the nurses or anything. It was more of...
You've never done it before.
Right. So you're not as prepared. I mean, I don't think nothing could ever prepare you for that.
And we had the best people
Yeah.
to take care of us before, during, after. They were wonderful. We probably called that nurse hotline. Oh, bless their hearts.
We
I mean, me, I'll be honest.
Flip that W around.
With Addie, it probably was like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, poor Addie.
With Carter, it was probably at least every hour, I feel like, especially during the night because he cried all night long.
Yeah, and
he never stopped.
Yeah, but the first time we ever had him in there in our possession, like with nobody else around, he like projectile vomits. And he starts choking.
It was probably our fault we didn't burp him.
No, we didn't burp him. I didn't know that was not on the checklist. We didn't burp him. There was a lot of stuff on the checklist except the burping part. And then we're like looking at each other going, why did he do that? And then we're like, I don't think we burped him.
Well, no, what it was, he projectile vomited. We knew that wasn't normal. We didn't know a whole lot, but we knew that wasn't supposed to happen.
It was not in the catalog.
So we were telling one of the nurses that came in, she was so sweet. And she said, well, are you guys burping him? We said, no. And she said, that might be why.
Yeah, I think that was why. And then we get him all situated. And she kind of teaches us a few things on how to take care of that if that does happen. And then we didn't sleep. I didn't sleep any of that night. And we didn't sleep any of the next 2 days. I think was we in the hospital 2 days?
Yeah. But then when we went home with him, of course, I mean, he's a newborn. He slept a lot during the day, didn't really sleep much at night. And I remember when we took him for his very first doctor appointment, neither of us had any sleep. We took him to Owensboro to the pediatrician, and we had 0 sleep. And I fell asleep on the way back, and I think that was the first time I had any sleep since he had been born.
And so we get through all that, and then we get back home, and I couldn't sleep, and you couldn't sleep because we were constantly like worried about him because he had such bad reflux. So he was spitting up and getting choked all the time for quite a while. And so we had the bulb syringe right by the bed, and it was like we were on alert. Constant.
We had his outlet monitor.
And we had his outlet. We had everything you could think of on that kid. That poor kid. And Hattie was just like, she'll be all right. But, you get to all that and you're thinking, that's rough. That's harsh because you're not getting any sleep. You're in some kind of like crazy psychosis where you're lack of sleep and
it's like you're on a high because you're so excited. But then you're on a low because you're so exhausted, and it's a totally different exhaustion. Yeah.
And it's like you fight through it because you're so excited, but then in the same breath, you're like, this is rough.
It finally hits you
Yeah.
a couple days in.
Yeah. It's different than anything you can try to describe it like we are as people that are listening or watching, but reality is you don't realize it until it happens to you or happens to somebody that you care about. And you see it through their eyes, or through the lens of them when they're walking in and to the house or maybe even church. And we used to say, man, I kind of understand now why it's hard to get to church when you got kids.
And on time.
And on time when you got newborns. And then you're like, okay, it makes more sense now than it did, now that I'm living it. But even then, all that stuff was not as hard as when you had started feeling the postpartum depression kick in.
And I almost think, too, like postpartum anxiety. I don't think I even realized that back at the time. But now that I look back, especially after having Addie, I think there was some anxiety in with it, which was, and I probably didn't even realize it because that's just not something I was used to experiencing. Either one of them, really.
Right.
That just wasn't something that I was
you wasn't used
to. I mean, thankfully, but I just hadn't experienced it before, really.
Yeah, so if you are having a child or you've had a child or you know somebody that's having a child, this topic, as we lead into it, is for you. It doesn't just involve the people that's going through it. It involves the people that's dealing with it with that person. So I remember when we're in the hospital and they give you this blue book, which is blue because our hospital is color scheme is blue, navy blue. And so we get that book, and that book has like all kinds of different things about the child. And then in the back of the book, it has postpartum anxiety, depression, all encompassed in a few
Like
pages.
warning
signs, hotlines, you name it. And for some reason, I don't read at all. Like, hardly ever do I read. And I decided to read that. And I read it because I didn't want to mess Carter up at all. But then I was like, well, maybe I should read some of this. And so I read it from the front to the back of the book. And it wasn't until, I don't know, how long was it before it started hitting you?
I feel like
maybe the anxiety first, not the depression.
The anxiety was probably pretty quick, because I feel like if he had like a little bump on his face, I was assuming the worst, that he had a rash from a fever or something, rather than it just being baby acne, which is what it usually was.
Yeah.
Or if he felt the least bit hot, I was checking his temperature to see if he had a fever, which I actually read it wrong one time, and that sent me into a spiral, but that's a whole other story. But I think the anxiety probably set in just a few days from being home. The depression probably set in, I feel like probably around 2 weeks of being home.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I suck as a husband. I didn't know it was that soon.
I do. I don't know.
Didn't read the book well.
I don't know that I really realized it when it was first happening, though. Like, eventually I was just in denial. But at first I just don't think I realized what it was, what I was going through. I mean, I'd never had a kid before. I'd only heard people talk about postpartum depression. So I just don't think I really realized it.
Yeah. I was going to say like a month in is when I started realizing.
But maybe I played it off good.
You did. You're really good at that. You're skilled at playing things off and act like nothing bothers you.
My doctor had even told me, I would come back for a 6-week checkup. I would fill out a rating scale. It would be a postpartum rating scale. And it just asks you a bunch of questions about basically your emotional state, how you're feeling, things like that. And she said, but I don't think you'll have a problem.
Wow.
You seem to be happy, bubbly. She said, basically, it's just going to be to check on you, make sure you're okay. She said, but I think you will be just fine.
Yeah, I remember that. And in my mind, to be honest, as we were going through all the other stuff, the anxiety part I wasn't too concerned about, because I'm sitting here thinking, realistically, we can put a name to it, but that's being a parent isn't an anxious thing. So we got this new baby in our life. We're learning to take care of him. And I could see where there would be things, new things that come up and like, just like the baby acne and all that stuff. Remember the little knot that he had on his hand? That was always, that was something we were concerned about. And ended up being nothing but like a bone spur or something like that. But I felt that too. So in my mind, I'm thinking, it's okay. It's just, this is part of it. But then when the depression started kicking in, I knew that there were some signs there. But what was probably the first sign for you? Do you remember?
When we got home and I was tired of staying in the house. You've had a newborn, you have no sleep. You don't really feel like going anywhere. But I was ready to break out of the house in the same sense. But I wanted to just go by myself. I didn't want you to go. And I didn't want to take Carter. I didn't want it to be a family event. I just wanted to go. And the reason being is I kept thinking, before he was born, I got to do what I wanted. I could go to Owensboro and shop whenever I wanted.
Yeah, you could.
And I did.
You did.
I could go and get food. We could go eat in Owensboro. That's what we did Friday nights usually.
Every Friday night, yeah.
And it was just really, really hard for me to realize that now I'm responsible for not only myself, but somebody else. And I can't just pick up and go and do what I want to do.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that was probably just a few weeks of being home when I was ready to get out of the house, but I didn't really want you guys going. I just wanted to go. And I kept thinking, sorry, you were on my nerves too.
It's okay. I understand.
But I also,
Do you still feel that way?
every day, no. But I also, even being home, I wanted to just like, I guess relax is the word I'm looking for. I wanted to be able to relax.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that with a newborn.
No.
It's just part of it. And I remember I would just think, why can't I just go back to how it was a month or two ago? Where and that sounds awful.
No.
I mean, that sounds harsh. But unfortunately, that's really how I felt.
Yeah.
Those were thoughts I had. I just wanted to go back to that freedom, I guess, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I loved him then. I mean, my gosh, he's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, was I ready?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I am, I shouldn't be having these thoughts. I should be able to text my friends and we can just go do something. But it doesn't work like that once you have a kid, especially when they're a newborn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know what you're saying. It's not really harsh. It's just the reality. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, it's not taken away. Like you didn't not want him.
No,
You just wanted that.
I was selfish. I felt very, very selfish. It was nothing against him, nothing toward him. I was being very, very selfish because now I feel like I put him and his sister before everything I do, every thought I have. I feel like they come first.
Yeah.
But I just felt, looking back, I was so selfish.
Yeah, I can't say that because I'll be in trouble, but I'll let you say it. But do you think that was a part of the depression, the postpartum, the feelings that you had?
Yeah, because I don't feel like that was truly me.
Shoot, that'll preach.
I don't feel like I had never had a thought like that prior, and I haven't since.
Yeah, because you're not a selfish person. Like,
I don't feel like I am.
No, I don't think you are. I mean, sometimes, but we won't.
I feel like overall I'm not, but I definitely, for those 3 or 4 months, for sure, I was. And I can say that.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the first signs I seen was like almost the aggravation.
Mm-hmm. I was very irritated, aggravated, but I was also frustrated for having those thoughts because I knew that wasn't me. I knew that wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to have those thoughts, but I could not help but have those thoughts.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was going to eat with a friend, we were going to go to Owensboro and eat. It was just us.
No, we go to Owensboro a lot.
We do.
Brought up Owensboro quite a bit.
But we were going, just us. It was probably one of the first times I got out of the house after having him. And I remember I checked his temperature because I thought he looked hot, felt hot. And it read like 103. So, of course, that freaked me out. So she was already on her way to the house. And so I messaged her and told her, he's running a fever. I'm not going to be able to go. I'm sorry. So she turns around, goes home. Well, you get home from work and you're like, are you sure? Like, he looks fine. He's acting fine. I was like, well, you do it. You try it.
Yeah.
You did it. And it was normal. It was 98, 99. And I was like, are you sure? So then I was mad at you because you did it right. And I've made this big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm mad at myself because I've canceled plans with a friend who I was super excited to go do something with.
Yeah.
So that was a big issue too, because the feelings I had, I knew those weren't normal feelings.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I messaged her and was like, well, he's not running a fever. And she's like, well, I'm already home. But we can still go eat or do something. I guess she could tell, like, I really wanted out of the house. Mm-hmm. And so we did. We went and ate. And then she told me a couple of months later. And I think this was really her first time being around me since I had Carter. But she told me a couple months later, after we finished eating, she called her mom and told her mom she was really worried about me.
Mm-hmm.
And she told her mom she felt like I had postpartum depression by the way I talked to her.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, I can't remember anything I specifically said that would make you or make someone think that. But she just knew me that well.
Yeah.
Because I thought I covered it up really well.
That was that you're talking about that night. I remember it because I just got off work. I got in the house. Your mom and dad was there kind of covering because you were going to leave and they were going to take over for a little bit till I got home. And then I get home and you're like frantic. And anybody that knows Kara knows that she is not in the chaos. And so I'm sitting there and you're like going off in front of your mom and dad about it. You finally throw me the thermometer. You asked me to check. It was good. Then you're mad at me because of that. And I'm trying to calm you down. And like you leave the room and I look at your mom and I was like, we need to talk to her. Like something's not right. And your mom was like agreeing with me.
I bet she did because I remember texting her every day because he did not sleep either.
Yeah. And I thought some of that and when we talked about it, not that we were talking behind your back, but we were worried about you. And it wasn't just me and your mom, it was your dad and everybody was to a certain extent because you just was out of character. It's the best way to put it. And then once that occurred, it seemed like it didn't get any better. It got actually 10 times worse.
I had a hard time it not being about me. I did.
Yeah. I'm scared to admit
You don't want to agree.
No, I don't. Because after this is stopped recording, I got to go home. But no, I mean, I get it though, and that was the hardest part for that because I'm not feeling it. And so sometimes when people don't feel that way or don't understand anxiety or depression, it's almost, even though I do, for most people, and I think this is what made us so different and why this title of this is probably going to be our story because we both went through it together, is I understood depression, I understood anxiety because I've dealt with it before, so I didn't just shut you off. Or most men, and you can say if I'm wrong or not, I think I did a pretty good job.
You did. We had a lot of arguments.
Yeah, a lot of heart-to-hearts. A lot of heart-to-hearts.
But you did. You handled it well,
yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, but I feel like most men especially have a hard time with the concept of depression or anxiety within their significant others, especially after pregnancy, because they're selfish too. And so I had to put away myself to protect you and to be there for you. And that was hard for me because then we got this baby too that we got to take care of. And so I was watching you go through this. I was trying to navigate being a dad.
And he was super colicky, fussy.
Right.
And I think that made it hard too. And anybody who's ever had a newborn that is colicky understands that. It definitely complicates things in the beginning, especially when it's your first time. And he didn't sleep ever.
No, he did.
And I remember I'd always message my mom the next morning and be like, he's not sleeping. What do I do? And it was hard because I was comparing him to other babies around the same age. And their babies were sleeping 8-10 hours.
Yeah. The comparison
They
trap.
weren't fussy. They were happy. And I just didn't feel that. And I felt like it was my fault. I was doing something wrong. I think I ordered, I'd hate to really know, but probably about 10 to 12 different kinds of sleep sacks to try to get him to sleep. I ordered the cheapest to the most expensive.
Yeah. I remember that.
I mean, it was like every other day a sleep sack was coming in because if he slept in this one and he didn't sleep,
yeah,
then I was going to try a different one. I was borrowing sleep sacks from other people to try out. I'm sure I can go back and find Facebook posts about sleep sacks. I was so obsessed with finding the perfect sleep sack to make him sleep. And if somebody else's baby slept through the night with this sleep sack, then he was supposed to. So then that really bothered me. And I don't know why. I mean, he's a newborn. A lot of them don't sleep.
Yeah. And maybe you can tell me this, but I feel, I'm not educated enough in postpartum depression or anything postpartum really, but I feel like in every pregnancy or post-pregnancy, women navigate things differently. Like for you, it was like the sleeping and then all this stuff. For some women, it's probably, milestones. For some women, it could be the way they're eating. We didn't have to worry about that. We had a big baby. But everybody's got their
he
thing.
was tiny at first, and I worried about that too.
Yeah. But
we had a couple weight checkups, so I worried about that. Thought I wasn't feeding him enough. And looking back, I feel like in the very beginning, I probably wasn't because I didn't know when he needed to go up. I didn't pick up on those signs. I didn't know what I was doing.
yeah, yeah, and it's hard because people always want to, always want to like whisper in your ear, "This is what you need to do," or "This is how you want to interact," or "This is how you want to feed," or "This is how you want to do the schedule." And there's no perfect way to do it. There's no perfect way to navigate being a first-time parent, or especially being a first-time mother, because not only have you just birthed this child, which I was so, I don't know, not caught off guard, but so amazed at the fact of how much a woman goes through during pregnancy and their body. And it was mind-boggling to me. And then right after that, it's like, now you got to be a mom. And now you got to go through all these hormonal changes and go back to your normal self, which is sometimes a year, 2 years from whenever you had that child. And you got to take care of that child. And here's a pamphlet. I want you to read this pamphlet and here's some pills, because it ain't going to make you feel any better, but it'll make you feel somewhat normal. And that's it. And I mean, I know there's things out there like therapy, but it's not as easy as it sounds.
No, and when you go for your checkup and you fill out that rating scale and you fill out the sheet, of course I lied. I lied on it. And
why did you lie?
Honestly, I just don't think I wanted to admit. And then I felt like if I admitted it on the sheet, then the doctor knew. So then I was admitting it to someone besides myself. And then I was like, what will they do? What will they want? Because, I mean, honestly, it would have been a really bad score. It would have been really bad.
We've never talked about this, but I'm sure it's okay and that we can cut it out if you don't want to say it. But did you ever feel? Yeah.
Because I felt like
I never asked because I was always afraid to know.
You didn't want to know the truth.
Well, not that I wasn't present or worried, but then I was hoping that you would. You didn't think you'd ever tell me the truth about that?
Yeah, it was, and I've never had those type of thoughts until then. And I just remember I kept thinking, I can't stop worrying about Carter. My worrying is worrying you. So I'm not really any good to you.
Which was not true at all.
But that's how I felt, because it was always something. I was always worried about something. I was mad about something. Something wasn't going my way. I just wanted some time to myself, and I couldn't get that. My house was a wreck, I felt like, and I was used to being able to keep my house exactly how I wanted it and keep it tidy and clean. So little things like that. I was used to cooking, didn't feel like cooking, but then I felt like I should be cooking. And all of those things that I was used to being able to control were out of my control. And that didn't help anything either. So I just felt like I wasn't doing you any good. I wasn't doing Carter any good.
Yeah. That's crazy, because my perspective was not that. I thought you were doing a great job. The only signs that I really seen was those explosive moments. You know, when I say explosive, like the temperature or the 50 sleep sacks that would pull up in our house. And I'm sitting here thinking, why did we get all these sleep sacks?
Or you would walk through.
But I never questioned you on the sleep sacks, because I was thinking, well, maybe she can figure out, because we're not getting no sleep.
I mean, he sleeps now. So.
But yeah, he does. But I never even questioned it until probably about you said it went on for months. And I would say that's probably, I'm going to say 3 or 4 months for sure. But I didn't start questioning the seriousness of it until you started just breaking down randomly. And then I was like, okay, something's not right. And that's when, we talk about we can't say that word, but unaliving yourself or anything like that. And then I started thinking, well, this something's not adding up. We've got to talk about this. Do you remember that moment that we had?
Because that night, Reese gave her testimony at a church in McLean County.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we were both supposed to go to listen.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad had already planned to come watch Carter for us so we could go.
Mm-hmm.
But
you had anxiety about Carter.
It was
so I stayed.
An awful day.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we fought.
Yeah.
I was probably mad at the world about everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you ended up staying home. And I remember saying, I was like, I need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're not going to go too, like, I need to go, whether you go or not.
And something in my mind was like, you need to go, and I need to set out for this one.
And you felt bad because Reese was speaking.
Yeah.
And of course, we didn't tell her why you weren't there. We didn't go into all of that.
No, we didn't tell nobody. Nobody, hardly anybody knew other than...
No, I mean, I really tried to cover it up. I mean, not everybody.
Needed to know.
No, but some people
now everybody knows. But
yeah, I mean, it's out there now. But some people saw through, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I tried to, like, for church, make sure I had everything in the diaper bag, make sure he was dressed nice, I was dressed nice, and to show up, smile, and go on, even though I really didn't want to be there.
Yeah. That played a part, too, because going to church is one of our favorite things. It is our favorite thing, probably, to do together. One of the only few things we do when we do it together. It's kind of hard now with 2 kids. But when I started seeing your lack of wanting to even go to church, that was probably not the first red flag, but it was one of them, one of the many. But there was a few Sundays you would say, I'm just going to stay home with him. I'm not even going to go.
Which is not like me.
Not at all. If anything, I'm more amped to do that because I'm tired, or I'm not, Wednesday night, midweek, I'm just like ready to but I end up going anyways. But you're always the encourager. So when you're being the, I guess, quote unquote, discourager for going, and I'm like, this ain't Kara. And then, the temperature and then all this stuff. And then all the signs were there. It was the hardest part was when do we have that come to Jesus meeting almost? And how do I do it in a way in love without coming off like I'm attacking? Because you can't just put a Band-Aid on this. You have to handle it in a godly way. And so Reese has her thing that night where she's speaking and giving her testimony. And I remember looking at you and going, you're going. I'm staying with Carter. You're going to go. You need to go. And you were fighting me about it. And you were mad as all get out. And you were yelling. And I was like, you got to go. And finally it was weird. It was like somebody snapped a finger. And you were like, I need to go. And then you left. And I had Wild Man. And I was sitting there in my head. I was like, God, just please let there be a moment or maybe an altar call or something. Because that's just not, that's not you to even go by yourself without me in those kind of settings. And so I was thinking, just let her have her moment. Because being a minister, we're at the altar. I get those moments all the time, but for you're having to take care of the kids and you're having to take care of Carter and you're having to do all that. You never get that time of worship like most people do, especially when your kids are older and you're constantly battling that. You don't get to be in part of the worship really as much. And this was the one night you get to be without that. Nothing wrong with having that. I'm just saying you didn't get to have that. And then you come back and I seen the difference. What happened that night?
It was like a multitude of things. It went from the music and the worship to the testimonies, to re-speaking, I just remember thinking when I left, I was like, it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I maybe even messaged you when I left,
Yeah, you did.
telling you that.
You said it's going to be okay.
I had this feeling come over me, and I was like, it will be okay. It might not be okay right now. Like, I may not feel okay right now. I'm not going to lie and say I do. But something was telling me I will feel okay. I will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's that light at the end of the tunnel.
mm-hmm.
And so many women, unfortunately, don't see that. And that's why I think it's so essential that we have this conversation and we put it out publicly, because there's so many women out there that are, you know, hurting themselves or harming themselves or harming their child, or, you know, doing things that out of character.
And my thoughts were never toward him. It was toward myself.
Yeah.
Like, if I was going to do anything, it would be to myself.
Yeah.
I never once had any ill thought toward him like that, or you. I mean, you just got on my nerves.
Thank the Lord.
But it was definitely about me, to myself.
Yeah.
Because I was just mad I was having those thoughts. And then I was mad at God, because why am I having these thoughts? Why can you not take these thoughts away?
Mm-hmm.
Why can you not help me? I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to be like this. And then I thought, will I feel this way for the next year, 2 years? Like, how long does this last?
Mm-hmm.
I was miserable. I mean, even when I first went back to work, I thought it would get better almost immediately, because I was getting back into a routine of what I was used to, what was comfortable. And it still took a while after that too.
Mm. Even when normalcy came, you still felt empty. Was it like an emptiness?
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
And just anger mixed in with a little anxiety. It was a lot of emotions.
You said something that I think most people probably would have bypassed, but I caught it. Your breakout moment, or your aha moment, as a lot of church people like to call it, was when you kind of said it's going to be okay. But what made you say that? What made you use that frame of wording?
I just had this almost sense of relief come over me.
Mm-hmm. But what caused that relief?
God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But did you have to do anything? Did you have to say a prayer, or was it more of I just made myself available?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is
It was the one night where there weren't any distractions around, I felt like, and I could actually just be present, be available, and I felt like that just wasn't something I had done. Like, even going to church, I hadn't really been present. I was not myself, for one. Two, I was, you're at church with a newborn, and I'm worried if he gets fussy, and so I wasn't really, I was there, but I wasn't.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
And so that was one night I finally felt like I just didn't have any distractions.
The availability part is what's so hard, because I would feel, because I've dealt with anxiety and depression, not at the magnitude of that. Really, I can't compare it because I don't know what that feels like. But most of the time when you're going through that, you want to isolate yourself and make yourself unavailable, kind of like a disconnect. But you had to reconnect to get back to your normal self. And it was going to that service for you. Because you've been to church services. You never missed a church service.
And going to that, I mean, I'm not saying that was right then and there, everything was fixed. I was a brand new person. I was back to my old self. I'm not saying that. It wasn't overnight. change. I just knew that it was going to get better. I would not always be stuck in this. I would not always feel this way. I knew it would be better. It would get better. But for it to get better, I had to do something too. I couldn't just sit there and be sad and wait around. I had to try to get back up on my feet and do things too.
Yeah. You always preach this or teach this to me. What is it? You already know.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I don't want to steal your thunder.
Put feet on your prayers.
Mm-hmm. You say that all the time, and you had to.
My mom told me that.
Oh, well, shut up, Sharon. But you had to kind of practice what you preached, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it for you. You couldn't even do it for yourself.
No, and there's a picture, and we have it hanging up at the house. You had got it for a Mother's Day gift, and you had no idea the significance behind the picture. But I think I told you.
I don't think so, because I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't remember then.
Go
but
ahead.
It's the one hanging on the wall in the living room. But that picture, I remember it was just me and Carter laying on the floor. I was smiling. He was smiling. He was probably 3 or 4 months old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I remember, now you remember?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember feeling like I was getting back to myself in that picture. I remember thinking, okay, I feel like myself again.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why that picture still hangs there.
I thought it's because you like to give.
Well, it was a nice gift, but it was like when I started to really feel like myself again.
It was a reminder.
He was happier, so I felt like I was doing something right. And I just started to feel like myself again.
Yeah. I knew that night was a pivotal moment because you texted me that. And then a few months into it, I started to kind of see like it was almost like pieces being broke off and reality was kind of starting to set in that this is not reality what I'm dealing with right now. This is not who I am. This ain't who I'm going to be. This ain't the end of me. Things are going to change, but I'm going to grow with it. I'm not going to just, fall apart. And what blew my mind is when we had the second child, Addie, because we brought up Carter a lot in this episode, but poor Addie, she don't get the attention she deserves. When we had the second child, you've hardly had any of those symptoms like you did last time.
Yeah, I was honestly a little scared to have another.
Yeah.
Because of all of that and how I felt through that. But it was totally different the second time around.
Yeah. And, medical care, support, systems, all those things are so good. I mean, I think God puts those things in place for a reason.
But I think I could have had everything with Carter and still it probably would have not been good enough for me.
Yeah.
To not feel how I felt.
Yeah. Like literally an act of God. I love how people say that. Literally an act of God had to be in place. And then here we are all these years later, or last few years later, with 2, and we're still trying to figure it out. I don't think we'll ever, there's no playbook. There's no playbook for postpartum. There's no playbook for being a parent.
But with Addie, I don't feel that I freaked out near like I did with Carter over things.
No. And that's the reality is, we learned a lot about each other and how we were.
Oh, we learned a lot.
We learned a lot. We learned a lot about our marriage, about how we parent. And even though it was difficult and it was sometimes felt like unbearable, we made it. We went through it and we did it. And here we are. and it's only by the grace of God and his favor. And so if you're out there and you're listening or you're watching this, just hold on. Like, this is just a season, and that for you was just a season.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't easy, but he never promised us it was going to be easy. And if you had to share advice for a mom out there or soon to be mother, what would it be?
It does get better.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy to say, being on the other side. And if someone would have told me that when I was going through it, I would not believe it and probably wouldn't want to hear it either. But it does get better. And one of the things that truly helped me is, aside from just praying, even when I didn't even feel like it, is Jelaine and Kennedy Somers got me a journal with Carter's name on it. And I wrote in that thing, especially when he was first born and was little, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The good, the bad, and writing in it truly helped. And I went back and looked at it and thought, wow. I even wrote in there, I'm trying to be a good mom, but I don't feel like I am. I'm trying to be a good wife, but I don't feel like I am. You can't put this on there.
It's probably going on there. It's okay.
I mean, there's not even any tears. It's just my eyes.
You're crying, don't you?
It's my eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I'm trying to wipe them. There's none.
Okay, it's fine. It's going on there, though. Yeah. No, just, you were trying. I've never even read that book. I've never even seen anything you wrote on there. Addie didn't even get one.
She has one. I probably just haven't wrote it as much. I've been
the second child gets
we've
abused.
been a little busy.
But you got through it. And do you feel that way now? Well, if you could write to yourself again, it'd be a different story.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Carter's 2.5, totally different from the newborn stage. I mean, he's still rough as ever. And if you go to church with us, you definitely know that. He's all boy. He's so much fun. The journal entries would look totally different.
Yeah.
For him and about him than they did when he was little like that.
Postpartum is real.
It's very real. And then I went through it, and it's very real. People tell you about it. People talk about it. People try to warn you.
Yeah.
But you just don't get it or understand it until you're there, if you're there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got some, and it's real, but it's not nothing God can't take care of. And ain't nothing above God. And, you said something too that you said, I tried this, I tried that, and then even then I wasn't completely healed, I guess, quote unquote, but you just pressed through. It kind of reminds me of the woman with the issue of blood. And Joe, in our Sunday school, taught us about, how she pressed through. She went to physician after physician for, I think it was like 12 years. And she got worse. And so, but then the moment she touched the hem of his garment, she was made whole. And I'd always, we got through the part of her getting healed, and that's so magnifying. But I was just as amazed at the fact that she went through that for so long and she never gave up. Like, healing is great, but having that hope is just as good of a healing as anything, and that faith. And, sometimes we're not, just because we're not healed of certain things doesn't mean God's not good. Mm-hmm. And just because things don't work out in our favor doesn't mean God's not good, because if we don't get healed here, we're getting healed when we go to heaven. If we're right with God, we're getting a full healing.
And that was part of my issue. I wanted him to take it instantly.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really want to wait. I didn't want to have to press on, regardless of what I knew. I didn't want to do that. I just wanted him to take care of it right then and there.
Yeah. What did you learn about God through that?
That you can't give up. Like I said, I would pray even when I didn't want to. I went to hear Reese. And in the emotional state I feel like I was in, that's probably not the number one place I would say I would want to go. But I did. I wanted to hear Reese. Something told me I needed to go.
Mm-hmm.
I continued to go to church. Was I always truly present? No. But I knew I needed, if I just quit altogether, then that definitely wouldn't help my situation at all.
Right.
So I truly just kept telling myself to continue on, press on, basically. And I knew the feeling I got that night when I heard Reese share and give her testimony, that I knew it would get better. But the only way was to continue on, keep trying, keep talking to God, and just not to give up and abandon God, or try to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's almost like you knew that it wasn't gonna. What's that gonna help?
Mm-hmm.
Quitting. What's
And
that gonna do? It ain't gonna change anything. It's just gonna make it worse.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't quit. I continued on, and I finally got back to where I truly wanted to be and had hoped to be, and actually better.
Yeah, and that was for you, and so many people that will listen or watch this, everybody's got their own path and their own way. We don't have the correct answer. Nobody's going to pretend like they do. I mean, certain people will, but we're not. We're just sharing our story, hoping that this story helps you and helps you or your significant other or someone that you're friends with or family with, that it kind of breaks that, stigma of postpartum depression, anxiety. This might not be a topic for, maybe you're not dealing with postpartum or anything related to that. Maybe it's just anxiety or depression. I mean, it's all this. It all comes together.
I feel like I had the rage. I just had anger.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt some of it.
I'm sure you did.
But it was good because I understood that I didn't understand what you were going through. Reality was me. Not saying I always handled it correctly, the responses. I'm not perfect. You know that. I know that. I'll share that. But I understand what it feels like to be anxious. I know what it feels like to have depression. I knew what it felt like. And so I already lived the sign, so I had a heart for you. And maybe that's, God doesn't, there's no coincidences. And, I think that's one reason why God put us together, is because we know how to navigate each other in all the things that we go through. And you are a good mom and a good wife.
Thanks.